I'll let Kayla know that when I come in, but we'll see. I'm not even sure if my pass still works, my car. Yeah, that'd be cool. Good to see you, man.
Yeah, man.
So I sent you the run sheet. We got one call at 10:30 to Derek Ciapala. Okay, cool, man.
Easy Sports Talk is brought to you by great partners of the show.
Let's get it in, man. I don't know. I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go.
Okay, jiggling, man.
Oh my God.
Oh boy.
Oh, what am I doing here? I need to do. Turn that speaker up a little bit.
Turn you up a little bit?
That speaker.
Oh, gotcha. Good.
You're live.
And welcome to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Christmas edition, holiday edition, whatever you want to call it. Welcome aboard. Appreciate you spending some of your Saturday with Easy and Jay as we get closer to these holidays. You in the spirit yet, man? I know you've been going to Christmas parties.
My son came home, so that's all good. So
Okay.
I guess that puts me in the spirit.
Yes, sir.
And my wife put the decorations up. And she didn't even ask me to pull nothing there. That was our youngest. So I love y'all for that. That's
There you go.
Right there.
We want to thank Coach DeAlicio. Always a great job of the Varsity's sports show leading into ours. And like I said, we appreciate you hanging out with us. Before we get started today, well, let's do let's start out. We'll let everybody know who this segment is brought to you by.
Cold Artisan Beverage Company. And this segment is provided by the Cold Artisan Beverage Company, the official beverage company of the Easy Sports Talk Show. One of the first to launch nitrogen-infused coffee. They offer everything from specialty coffees to a botanical infusion line of caffeine and sugar-free brewed beverages. Call Colt Coffee, Cold Artisan Beverage Company at 623-434-0939 or visit ilovecolt.com for more information.
And we are getting ready to kick some big things off with Colt and EIC over the after we break out into the new year. So look for us to be spreading around the valley at some of your favorite spots where Colt Artisan Beverage Company is featured.
Yes,
so, we always start to show off with a little bit of, flashback to last week in football. But this is, I got to start off this, man. Sometimes, you're reminded of things. I'm like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that. And, this is a very special show, actually. This is the 3-year anniversary of Javon and I partnering up officially,
Yeah, man.
And, funny, we'll be hitting the 5-year mark in March for the Easy Sports Talk Show.
Yep.
I started off, my original partner was Jim Marshall. He ventured off to do some different things. Took a little bit of time for you to win me over. I was out there.
You and my wife.
I was back out there in the Dayton Sea.
She got me in high school for a little bit. And I just kept coming around.
Well, you kind of grow on people after a while, And, I was like, I'm looking at the puppy dog eyes every week for a few weeks. And finally, I was like, look, man, it was actually December 8th of 2018 was our first official. We've done shows together leading up to that. And then, like I said, we made it official. You accepted my ring and my offer.
I don't think that you thought that I would be around 3 years, because especially with some of the I sometimes I like to dig into deeper stuff and a little bit weighty stuff, and so I don't know how you felt about that. And then I won't call me quirky, but some of my oddities with Yukin and just some of the stuff with the music that we play, like that you hear in the background now. Some of that stuff is, I don't know.
Well, no, I'll be perfectly honest. The show, I enjoyed my time with Jim, but it was an entirely different show. That it was just basically all focused on sports.
Yeah.
And then when, like I said, Jim departed and you came aboard, and I'm not gonna lie, there was other people that wanted to sit in the spot and, after about 3 months of kind of interviewing, I was like, that's my man right there.
Yeah.
And initially, it's just like any relationship, And here's the thing about this show. It is the Easy Sports Talk show, but this is Ed and Jay. This isn't just Ed doing his thing with a partner on the side. Right. So what initially happened when you came to join me, I had been solo for a couple months, and I was like, look, and that's when I was like, if I'm going to bring you aboard, it's like, I got to take all of you. I just can't. I can't, I'm not going to ask you to come halfway in. So it did take a little bit of time for some of the things that we newly incorporated, like the music. Yeah. The Ayuk. I remember the first few times you did the Ayuk, I was like, what the hell you doing? And then, before I knew it, that had grown on me just like you grew on me, man. So happy anniversary to you, bro. Indeed. Man, love you. And here's the however many more years we do this. Yeah, we also got to give props to people like Kayla at the station, like Aaron, who's been one of the greatest producers, Mitch from the past. Yeah. We've had others fill in. Corey hit us up last week. Yeah, some great people that filled in. And so we've been very fortunate. A lot of the things that happens behind the scenes sometimes. So for those who are listening, that's listen to the show for any length of time and heard toward the end of the show, Aaron, I kept him off you because what Ed used to do was he would say, all right, when we come back, can you bring us back a little early? Can we bring us back a little this? And so some of those little tweaks that we do to try to, but Aaron does a great job behind the scenes, the producer of the show. They try to, hopefully I think Aaron has a lot of fun on our show. I think I can say I kind of get that feeling with us because we have a good time, but we come prepared and ready to go and have a little bit of fun. But the things that he does behind the scenes with the music beds, with the joiners, sometimes he'll say, yo, Jay, that song that you sent me, can't play that, man. And I'm glad you reminded me, Aaron. I'm going to give you a heads up. In one of the segments, if you can find like little applause, like little jingle that we can, when I ask you to play the applause, you can do that. I think it's like segment 6 or 7, so we got some time. But and while I'm thinking of you, for all of our listeners, you've been hanging out with us for 4.5 years too. We love your calls. We love the comments and things we get on the Facebook and our restream and different things. And one of the other things as well is I love like the people that we know who will chat with us throughout the show. Mark, Michael Carrot-Tenuto, Michael, my best friend Michael Carter. And we can go down a list of people who stick with us and make this fun. And that's the one thing. We talk a lot of sports, Jay. Yeah. We also have a lot of fun. Yeah. And that's the biggest thing.
Cool, man. I love it when we argue. That's the fun stuff.
A little disappointed, though, because you didn't bring me any flowers or anything for the anniversary. I guess is this how you treat your significant others? I like to talk to Nika, man. She needs to step her game up, get her man on point. But if you want to get at us here on the show, you can always call the Easy Sports Talk hotline, 602-260-1060. Aaron is behind the glass. Tweet at us at the Easy Sports Talk, at Ed Smith Speaks, and at Javon Love, and that's Love with LUV. And just a program kind of update. We got a great show lined up. We're going to talk about football, Cardinals, huge matchup coming up against the Rams here on Monday night. We'll talk about how significant that is. And we're also going to have Derek Ciapalo on. He's from Rams Talk Radio. I actually did Derek's podcast earlier this year, did it this week as well for the first and second matchup. He's going to join us. He's been on our show before, so we'll get his thoughts on how important this game is to the Rams coming in here, and also find out how their season, because the expectations for the Rams at the start of the year. My son's here sitting with us, and he's a Rams fan, but when you go out and do all those shiny new toys and and just stock up, and the expectations kind of grew, and here they are sitting at 8-4, and it's almost like it's a disappointment. So we're gonna find out from Derek, his thoughts on that, and then get his thoughts on the matchup of this game as well. He's going to be joining us at 10:30, so that's shortly. And then we got some basketball and things of that nature to talk later in the show, and some college football as well. I think it's segment 7 with the bowls all figured out and the championship and et cetera, and also a couple topics in there as well. So real quick, football-wise, we know some of the scores and everything from last week. I want to talk about one game in particular.
Okay.
The Monday nighter between the Patriots and the Bills ended up a 14-10 game for the Patriots. I want to talk about the genius
Okay, so
The
you're
genius.
leaning towards genius because
Genius,
it's funny
bro.
because I've heard people give their take and say not genius.
Genius.
But,
Yeah.
but you,
He
I lean a
took
little
that-
bit more towards you because I think it was the genius and the simplicity of what he did. But go ahead.
I'll give people what we're talking about. The New England Patriots went into Buffalo, and that on Buffalo on a Monday night in December, 27 degrees at kickoff, and you know it was going to get colder. Gusts of more than 40 miles per hour throughout the entire game,
Yep.
and snow. So you had to deal with all these elements, right?
Mhm.
So what does Bill Belichick do? And I don't know whether this was a night before the game thought process, or he just got to saw what was happening at night and said, "This is what we're doing." He ran the ball 45 times for 222 yards.
But
Threw the ball 3 times. So Mac Jones dropped back 3 times, threw it 3 times, completed 2 of them for 19 yards. And they went into Buffalo and won that game.
And then the conditions, what was it? Wind 40 miles.
40 miles plus.
Yeah, 40 miles plus. But goodness gracious,
For me, the genius to go in there and actually commit to that, because a lot of people, I think what helped them is their running game was gassing Buffalo right from the start.
Mhm.
And here's the crazy part, Jay. They just can run the same play over and over, different formations, different deep people pulling.
Lynch over.
How many times did they pull a guard, kick out, had somebody slam down, and they created these gaps, and they just kept doing it over and over. And meanwhile, Buffalo couldn't stop them. But then on the other side, Buffalo's trying to play regular football out there in this 40-mile gust.
Man.
And it was almost like I couldn't, like I said, the brilliance of
simplicity.
Simplicity.
Because some people would try to fit a square peg in a round.
Yes.
The square peg being the 45-degree
One minute.
the round hole being the I'm going to pass no matter what. And that's, I think doing that. Because the obvious thing is what people oftentimes don't do. Is the obvious.
Yeah.
The obvious is we'll just run the ball.
And the commitment to that game plan,
Yeah.
and the execution. Because I've been in rooms before, and we get the game plan, we're like, what? We're gonna do what? And for them to go that, and then look at this.
Yeah.
Patriots with a rookie quarterback sitting at 9-4 right now, currently number 1 in the AFC. People want to give Tom Brady all the credit in the world, and I'm like, y'all need to start, talking about that man, Bill Belichick a little bit more too. So unbelievable.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're gonna come back, talk a little Cardinals recap from this past week with the Bears. Hope you're having a great weekend so far, folks. Really appreciate you hanging out. Easy and Jay on the Easy Sports Talk Show. Be back after these messages. Hit them, Jay.
Are you okay?
All right, you were clear.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so for that applause, do you just want like a little applause sound effect?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, cool. And then you gonna call for it, or just kind
Yeah,
of?
I'll just say.
Whenever,
No, I'll just say it. I'll say. Aaron, go ahead and give me a little applause, and I'll make my announcement. Appreciate you, Aaron.
Will you just give me a heads up before the segment?
Oh yeah. I'll give you the segment right now. I'll let you know what segment. Thank you for that.
Customers across the valley.
It is.
New instruments, repairs to your current one, lessons, sheet music, rentals, and more. You will find everything you need and are looking for.
Actually, it's segment 5. So the 11 o'clock segment.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
In historic downtown Mesa,
What's
or
your
one of their 18 instrument rental depots across the valley. Since opening their doors, the Milano's family mission has been about sharing their enthusiasm of music with others. 75 years later, the proof is in their continued commitment to the community. For more information on the Mesa location or to find the nearest instrument rental depot, visit milanomusic.com or call 480-827-1111. Again, congratulations to Milano Music, and here's to the next 75 years.
Did you get our donations dropped off at Goodwill?
I did.
Let me guess. You found something you couldn't live without.
I want you to keep an open mind and imagine the possibilities.
A marching band? Oh, honey, we definitely don't have room in the house for that. With thousands of unique items arriving daily at your neighborhood Goodwill stores. Expect the unexpected.
Gather near and bring the cheer this holiday season. Dazzle and delight the love of your life with a gift from Helzberg Diamonds. Don't miss great prices on stunning diamond studs, tennis bracelets, gemstone rings, and the year's must-have look, Gold jewelry for stacking and layering. Another reason to go to Hellsberg, get a free Microsoft Surface Laptop Go with a purchase of $1,699 or more. Visit Hellsberg.com or a store near you today. Limited time offer while supplies last. See online and in store for details.
With over 11 years of serving the Valley, Majestic Services is who you should call for your pressure washing and window cleaning needs. From driveways to sidewalks, pool decks, awnings, patio blinds, even handyman services and more. Majestic Services has you covered. Call 602-614-9401 today for a free, no obligation quote. Commercial or residential, call Majestic Services or visit them at majesticservices.net. Majestic Services, let us do your dirty work. 602-614-9401.
I'm attorney Kevin Rowe. Have you been charged with a crime you didn't commit? Not more than you think. When your liberty is on the line, you need an experienced attorney that will aggressively fight for you. Lerner Rowe Law Group handles all other criminal charges. And with our affordable payment plans, it's easier than you think to get the defense you need. If the police made a mistake, call Lerner Rowe today. We're available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week to take your call.
Lerner Rowe is the way to go. Call 977-1900.
Now handling your court cases.
Killer Bees Hall with Jim Brisson and Howard Balser, Tuesday nights 6 to 7 p.m.
Here at KTUS AM 1060 and KTUS1060.com.
You're live.
And welcome back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Appreciate you giving us a little bit of your time this morning. Hope you are having a beautiful start to your weekend and getting into that holiday spirit.
It's a little chilly, man.
A little chilly. Got the door open. We're sitting here. We're going to be in the studio next week just to let everybody know. We're going to want to go down and see Aaron to finish out the year. So we'll be down and maybe see Coach as well if he's in the studio.
Oh, yeah.
But we got a lot of things cracking and getting ready to pop off in 2022. Looking forward to that. This segment right here is brought to you by
Milano Music, family owned and operated for over 70 years, over 75 years, over 50,000 square foot showroom and repair facility, 18 instrument rental depots across the valley. Visit milanomusic.com. That's MILANO music.com or call them at 480-827-1111.
Yes, sir. So we're going to get into a little sports here. Cardinals go over to Chicago last week. I think we both had this game in the win column. It was just a matter of, team coming out, maybe shaking all off a little rust after your boy Kyler Murray was off or out for 3 weeks.
And he was off
bye week. He was a little off.
Yeah,
he was.
A little off. That's why you come back that game. Yeah.
Some snaps, some different, timing, and the good thing is they didn't have to have much from him this week. It wasn't one of those games where you were facing the Rams and you needed him at optimum performance. So on the game, he was 11 for 15, 123 yards. He did throw for 2. He ran for another 2 more. But it was, as far as his statistics, it was pretty much a real kind of a quiet kind of get-back game.
Check out.
And what I like about this game, we ran the ball effectively, 137 yards total on 35 rushes.
Yeah.
Murray had 59 of those, but the defense really stepped up in this one for me. Yeah. I'll let you speak on this, but real quick, Cardinals were when I talk about the defense, it was kind of like bend, don't break.
Yeah.
And when they didn't break, they actually helped in getting the interceptions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But some of the stats that jumped out at me, Cardinals ran 51 plays, the Bears ran 71.
Mm-hmm.
Total yards, Cardinals 257 yards, Bears 329.
Right.
Time of possession, Cardinals 25 minutes, 15 seconds. Bears had the ball for 34 minutes and 45 seconds. So all the statistics we always talk about, at least the first 3 of those, in favor of the Bears. But then we had 4 interceptions in the game. Defense really stepped up in this game and kind of aided the offense, if you want to say that.
Now, with I've heard it said different ways. So with turnovers, so of course an interception being a turnover, are those things that you can count on from your defense, right? So because that's opportunities, kind of being opportunistic, right? Being at the right place at the right time. So it's good that they're being able to capitalize on those mistakes. But I guess it's that, as you mentioned, with the bend but don't break, you want to be able to not have to rely on the 4 interceptions as being a part of what you see there, because it's what else can we do to make sure we're getting as many 3 and outs from the offense as possible.
Well, you and I talked about this on the Believe in the Arizona Cardinal podcast. We did that Wednesday this week.
Yes, we did,
and it dropped. Sometimes I'm encouraged because you need these type of games. You cannot count on your offense to score 30 a game or always, be on point. This is one of those games, especially you go outside weather, and then they got caught a break. It wasn't what I would call, the hawk coming off the water over there, but it was chilly enough. It was a little damp, so it was one of those ugly games as far as weather-wise.
Right.
The defense in this situation, like I said, they won this game for the offense because very easily, you don't get. And you talk about turnovers. Turnovers are sudden impact on the game.
Right.
Team, they're moving. They got the place. Obviously, we saw they had more yardage. They had the ball more. They do all that work, and you know how deflating it is. All of a sudden, you're moving, and boom, just like that. Boom, ball going the other way.
Yeah.
And especially when you can get them deep in their territory, those sudden changes on their side give your offense a short field. And that's why we didn't have a whole lot of yardage, I think, because we kept, our defense kept putting us in great situations. I think that was really a good game.
Yeah. And those are the games, I think that, as you mentioned, you want to be able to count on you would like your offense to be able to put up whatever their average is.
Yeah.
But as we get into as we get closer to the playoffs, and you have some of these games where the offense doesn't get to quite curl quite right, that you're going to be facing in the playoffs teams that have a greater level of
the best of the best,
right? Greater level of defensive skill, if nothing else, and that you have to be able to overcome that with your defense being able to say, okay, we can hold it long enough, or we can win ugly, as opposed to trying to just continue to win pretty.
And you just heard my little chuckle, my boy Todd. He said Jay needs an elf hat for the next segments.
You try to call me shorter than Santa.
I'm Black Santa, That's a good one, Todd. So what I was going to say is the next step, because we always talk about the Cardinals right now. They're I would call them in this generation this version of the NFL right now, because I don't think there's a great team out there, but we are the best of the best right now at 10-2. I would like, you talk about teams that are complete, right?
Mm-hmm.
The only element I'm waiting to see step up, and I mentioned this to you on Wednesday. I'm still waiting. We had a couple early in the season.
Yeah, you do.
I'm still waiting for special teams to explode and win us a game.
And so, I asked you, and I want you to expand upon this when we talk about that. So I said, well, what about the kicking game has been more reliable? Yes, it hasn't been perfect, but at least going into these kicks, we're not kicking as in years past. This kicker is going to lose us games as opposed to keep us in games and get us to win a game. But when you say special teams, you mean? I mean,
okay, so I'll expand on what you mentioned with kicking. When you have a reliable kicking game, that's like when your anniversary, you bring candy home, right?
Yeah.
You're supposed to do that. I mean, what if you walked in and you're like, what? And I mean, with your kicking game, I expect that. Not that it's an easy thing, but if you have a good, reliable kicker, I expect that. When I talk about the special teams, I'm talking about those punt returns. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't always have to be scored, but I'm talking, we haven't had like that 60-yard punt return just to get us deep in the cherry kickoff return, which has become kind of nobody runs it back these days. Everybody kicks them out of the back of the end zone. But I'm still waiting for one of those block punts. Something like that, block field goal, going back the other way.
I'm still waiting for you to run back a punt.
That's interesting. Get this one. And we might need Aaron to look this up for us, because I don't want to be wrong on my facts. There has not been a punt return for touchdown yet this year, I don't think.
Man, you trying to have them dig in the Super Bowl.
I'm just saying.
I thought there was this season.
There has not been.
I don't think there has been.
Not for the Cardinals, no.
No, not for the Cardinals. For anybody. I don't think anybody's run a punt back this year for a touchdown. Really? I don't think so.
The closest was.
During the break, I'll actually look that up if I can. But I'm waiting, and here I'm saying touchdown, but I would even punt return for 50 yards. Get caught at the 5 or whatever it is. Right. We have not had anything exciting from our special teams at this point. Now we also haven't had the gaffes. Like they haven't dribbled down their leg and cost us a game.
Yeah.
So if nothing else, we had a favor from the Vikings this year, who they just gave us one. So instead of sitting at 9-3, we're 10-2. But like I said, so far the Cardinals have been exactly what their record says. 10-2.
Right.
I'm really impressed.
There have been no scores there have been no punt returns for touchdown.
Thank you. And that is unbelievable. I mean, you took the days of Devin Hester and different guys.
Yeah, I was thinking there was a guy, the guy that they called him the joystick or whatever, when he was on Kansas City. That was years and years ago.
Okay.
But yeah,
think about Deion Sanders running them back. Different guys who. Oh, and I'm just saying, not one yet this year. That means that the kicking game is basically almost being squashed.
2 minutes.
So I'm really, curious about that. Before we get out of here, we got a couple minutes. Got to give props to our man, Jordan Hicks, NFC Player of the Week.
Yeah.
Stepped up, 13 tackles, 2 sacks, 2 tackles for loss, and 2 QB hits.
Now, real quick, you typically when we're going through and we're especially on Believe when we're talking about the way the defense performed, and you say I see a lot of ones on here, and that gives you a lot of confidence that that they're flying to the ball and everybody's trying to contribute. And I'm not taking anything away from Jordan Hicks, so that's definitely congratulations. But when you see somebody with 13 tackles, does that make you say, were we a little bit off today in terms of flying to the ball, or is that just one of those things where somebody was just really in the zone?
He was in the zone, I think. And, sometimes it depends on the attack of the opposing offense, what they're trying to do, whether they were trying to infiltrate the interior of our offense or try to get around the edges. Hicks was always in the right spot. And that was encouraging. I look at that, and we talked on the show the other day. He very easily at the beginning of the year when they drafted Javon Collins and basically told Hicks, well, you can't even win the job. It's going to be – and here we are.
And he said, we'll see about that.
We'll see about that. And I was talking on the show the other day. I scrolled down. I had to scroll way down to the bottom. Javon Collins, 1 tackle. And, so Hicks.
You tell him, I'm going to go out and do what I do. We'll see about that.
So I got to give Hicks a lot of credit for just being that veteran who hung in there and didn't pout, because a lot of dudes would have been like, well, get me out of here. He stayed. He's been contributing, and kudos to him. So we're going to take this break. When we come back, we're going to have Derek Ciapala join us to start talking about this matchup with these Rams on Monday. Hope you're having a great weekend so far, folks. Appreciate you hanging out. Easy and Jay on the Easy Sports Talk Show. Be back after these messages.
Clear.
And you can extend this one for us, Aaron, with Derek.
Okay, we'll do.
Thanks, sir.
A new afternoon for the Doug Gottlieb Show, right here on KPUS AM 1060, 100.7 HD2, and KPUS1060.com.
Yeah, the closest
Easy Sports Talk. We'd like to congratulate Milano
You're live.
And welcome back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. Appreciate you hanging out Easy J on the Easy Sports Talk Show. This segment right here is brought to you by
Majestic Services. Contact Majestic Services. Do all the dirty work around your home or business. Majestic Services will pressure wash your driveways, awnings, pool decks, sidewalks, receiving docks, and more. Call Majestic Services at 602-614-9401. Again, that's 602-614-9401, or go to majesticservices.net for your free, no obligation quote.
And we're going to jump right out to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Join this great gentleman on Thursday. I can't remember which day it was. It was so busy this week, but joined him on.
Such a baller.
Joined Mr. Derek Ciapalo on Rams Talk Radio. Great friend of the show. I've done his podcast a few times now, last year and this year, and really looking forward to talking about this matchup. First off, thank you for joining us, Derek. How you doing, man?
I am living the flipping dream.
There you go. Too blessed to be stressed. There you go. And so let's talk about this matchup here. Rams coming in at 8-4, Cardinals at surprising. We all talk about this 10-2, 3-point favorite. We've already gone over and handled our business in Los Angeles. We got this game coming up. Before we get into the matchup itself, Derek, I want to talk to you about like your thoughts on the Rams season to this point. If you had to give them a grade, or with everything going on, like you got the injuries, you got them going out and buying every new shiny toy they could, and then which raises the expectations of everything. At 8-4, how do you view this team right now?
I'm going to give them a letter grade.
However you want to do it.
It's really interesting you say that, because if you were talking 4 years ago, when Sean McVay first came in, at 8-4, I would have been like, that's a grade A, man. That is grade A. But, with success comes higher expectations. And, when you're 8-4 right now, but you don't look good at 8-4. If we're honest, they don't look good at 8-4. I got to go see. And a lot of this is self-inflicted. A lot of this is, you're a victim of your own success. A lot of it has to do with, injuries that, unfortunately they've been his injury bug in key places. And combined, though, great see.
And right from the very beginning of the season, you lose your running back, and then, they go out and they purchase, these different items, high-end items. We all know wide receivers, defensive players, and stuff like that. How do you feel about their approach? Meaning instead of building through draft equity, they pretty much push all chips to the table, which could eventually affect your future. But they're basically saying, we're going for right now. What are your thoughts on that mindset?
I don't have a problem with it. And I know some people automatically will disagree with that. Like, come on, you're throwing your future away. I don't have a problem because I know the market they're in. They're in Los Angeles. Everybody loves shiny toys. But they're in LA, you're trying to compete in a market that has the Lakers, that has USC, that has UCLA, it has the Kings and the Dodgers and everything. You have to go out there and you got to put everything on the table. You got to do as much as you can. And especially when you're trying to regain a fan base that you lost, a large chunk of that fan base over the course of 20 years in the process. People join new fan bases, and people live their lives in California. Everything there's all kinds of things to do in California. So I don't have a problem with them doing what they're doing, and they're really smart about it. People don't understand how smart they've been about it, because even when they make an acquisition like a Von Miller, if Von Miller leaves in the offseason, they're going to get competition picks for it. That's what people realize. Oh, they gave this way, this way, but almost every year they seem to lead the league or be close to leading the league with comp picks, which they then turn around and use capital again. So it's not as weird a system as people make it out to be, but eventually they're going to take their medicine. That's what we've been saying on our show. The line is they will take their medicine. They're taking their medicine this year and with them taking all this dead cap money on to where are they paying the price for that? Depth. If you look at their depth, especially in the linebacking core, certain areas on the roster, you see where they had to give it away. So I get it. I understand it. Given where they are, I am okay with it. Now, the question will be, can they take that and make themselves into a Super Bowl champion? And that's where you balance the price you pay.
Again, we have Derek Ciapala here from Rams Talk Radio here on Easy Sports Talk Show. So, question about, of course, the QB1 there. So Matthew Stafford. There's people on either one end of the spectrum, the opposite end of the spectrum, saying that maybe he wasn't in the right situation when he was with Detroit, and others just say, well, maybe he is who he is when he was in Detroit. That just, despite not having all the best resources around him, that just is who he is. How do you think the pressure of not only trying to get to the playoffs but get to a Super Bowl is wearing on him? How do you feel that Matthew Stafford is dealing with that out for the Rams?
Ever since they made this trade, there's been a solid group of people who are still in the Jared Goff camp who won't give Stafford a shot. They'll say, well, Stafford only did this Detroit to this Detroit. And yet, when you protect him and when you have a running game, he's an elite quarterback in this league. I can watch enough film to know that. Mm-hmm. The problem is the Rams, and I'll say this straight up, Sean McVay really hasn't done that at times this year. He abandoned the running game quickly. He put his team in a 5-wide set early in the game. And if I'm on defense, if I'm Vance Joseph out there and I see them going 5 wide early, I'm like, all right, let's take somebody out. Seriously, you're going to do this with 5 wide. You're making yourself one-dimensional. And that's the Rams' biggest problem. They make themselves one-dimensional when they don't need to be. Even the first Cardinals game, they got down, they got behind. They didn't have to abandon the run. Everybody on the planet knows that there's one weakness on this on the Cardinals team is their run defense. Yes. So what do? You abandon your rush. You're even down 10-14. You don't need to abandon the rush yet. You made yourself one-dimensional, and they've done it time and time again this year. And that gets your quarterback hit more. And we do know that he's hurt. We don't know how hurt he is. We know he's got the back problem. We know he's got the elbow problem. But we don't know how big the problem is. And so he's dinged up. I look back and I still say 100% he's an upgrade over Jared Goff. I see Jared Goff 95% of the time being a deer in the headlights, even watching him play Detroit. Jared Goff do well there? Absolutely. He's still better than Goff. Goff reached his ceiling and then regressed. Whereas Stafford still has everything he can do. This is on McVay, and it's been on McVay. And anybody who wants to say differently needs to go back and watch the play calling.
That's really interesting, Derek. And let's jump into this game a little bit here. First question regarding how important is this game to the Rams?
It's their season, in my view. I think you're going to find out a lot about the loss of this Rams come Monday night. Who are they really? Because in their losses last month, they were physically abused out there. They were made to look small. They got healthy on a bad football team last week.
Mm-hmm. Right.
But against the good football team this year, get outside Tampa, they've been underwhelming. And if they lose this game, the division's done.
Absolutely.
So for them, this is desperation mode for them. This is where you set the standard for the way the rest of the season goes. So everything in my view, they may say differently, but even if they go to Arizona and they lose close, like you and I, we called our scores with we called it a close game. Okay, if they keep it close and it's a great game, then okay, the season's still okay. They just won't win the division.
Mm-hmm.
If they go out there and get blown out again, if they come out there and wet the bed, there's problems. They need to win though. If I'm on this game and say, okay, well, who needs to win more? It's clear the Rams. The Cardinals have a much more discussion down the stretch. They can afford to lose this, and I'm hoping they think that way too, but they won't. The Rams know they can't. So I think we're going to see. Well, I want to think we're going to see probably the best Rams team of the year on Monday night. But if they don't, or if they're not the best Rams team of the year Monday night, then
season over as far as the division. Now, I will say this much right now, just to set the scenario. If the Cardinals win this game, they'll be 3 up with 4 to go, but they'll own the tiebreaker because they've swept them. So that's basically almost a 4-game lead with 4 to go. So that's pretty much it. So my next question to you, where I'm going to double this up on you. you can go in either order you want. The Rams win this game if, the Rams lose this game if, and then give me your game prediction. I already know it because we talked on earlier in the week, and like you said, it's funny, we both had the same score. So hit us up, man. Give us your thoughts on that.
The Rams win this game if they control time possession. The Rams lose this game if they lose time possession. It's a time possession game for them.
Okay.
It's how it's been all year. I mean, it's how and you must say, well, how can you just be so simple about it? It's not simple. If the Rams control time possession, they control the running game.
Okay.
They control the running game. If they lose time possession on Sunday, it might not be the running game. It might be the fact the defense doesn't stop anybody, which they do. This defense, they're middling ranked in the league, but that doesn't tell the whole story. They're not a shutdown defense. Last year's defense was a shutdown defense. This year's defense, you can get 7, 8, 9, 10-minute drives on. A lot.
Yeah.
They struggle to stop people. They really do. They haven't had an answer. And this is why there's been rumors about Raheem Morris leaving. And we're sitting there going, really? All right, go. Okay. Because some of it might not be his fault. He inherited personnel. He inherited a defense that had been weakened, again, thanks to cap casualties. So, yes, the lack of adjustment defensively, the inability to make use of that solid front line of defense. Your great games has come on. Of course, Aaron Donald, A'Shawn Robinson, who is a stout run stopper, who's actually shown he can rush the quarterback a bit as well. They're not taking advantage of that at all. Why? Because the holes in defense, they have adapted for any of that. The secondary behind the two corners has been shaky. Heck, the defense with the course has been shaky outside of Jalen Ramsey. So where is the growth? And there really hasn't been there. They'll get turnovers here and there, and that's fine. They'll rush the quarterback here and there. It's not consistent, but it's not what the Rams need. And so the Cardinals go out there and they control the clock. It's an instant win. The Rams have shown they're able to come back, so the Rams need to control the football. They need to run the football. If they're not going to run it well, utilizing a small, a 5, 6, 7, 8 yard passing game, not trying to go deep all the time, take what the Cardinals give them, keep the Cardinals offense off the field. And that's why I'm saying how this is so important.
And before you give us your pick, Derek, I have one quick question. About a minute and a half left. What scares you most about the Cardinals when you look at us?
Your secondary.
Yeah.
Your secondary. That secondary itself will create that. And we've seen it time and time again over the course of 3 or 4 years, I would say. The Rams' offensive line does tend to wear down the latter part of the season, especially a 40-year-old left tackle out there.
Yeah.
Who still is very good, but he's got to get tired. I mean, and so a secondary that covers well to do, and the Rams do want to take some shots. That scares me a lot. There's offensively for the Cardinals, Kyler Murray will always carry it. Should be an untouched and have to say it. So I want to go off the chart a little bit into that Cardinal secondary concern thing.
So give us your prediction and then tell everybody how they can continue to follow you, Derek.
All right. Well, just the desperation alone, the fact the Rams are against the wall. The fact I think they found their running game last week. I think they kind of figured it out. I'm going Rams 30, Arizona 27. Will it shock me if it goes the other way?
1 minute.
But I think it's the sheer desperation of who this team is. Rams 30-27, close game. Cardinals probably still in the division anyway, but Rams got it.
Okay, how can everybody continue to follow you?
Yep, Finance Twitter, JC Paula, but really Rams talk Rams. Our podcast is found anywhere, and thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Man, Derek, appreciate you, man. Let's stay in touch, and happy holidays to you and the family, man.
Same to you. Have a great one.
You got it. That was Derek C. Apollo, lead man with Rams Talk Radio. You can follow him at DC Apollo on Twitter. Great guy, too, man. I've had some really good times with him. So we're going to take this break. When we come back, you and I are going to give our prognostication of this game, wrap it up, and then we got some basketball to talk, some other things. Hope you're enjoying your weekend so far, folks. Easy and day. KDUS 1060 AM, KSLX HD Channel 200.7. Be back after these messages.
You can.
Clear.
Thank you, sir.
SB Nation Radio is now Sports Map Radio, keeping sports content fresh and fun.
Join us right here on KDUS AM 1060.
With over 11 years of serving the Valley, Majestic Services is who you should call.
You're live. And welcome back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. Hope you're enjoying your Saturday so far. Man, we are deep into holiday season. I mean, this 2 weeks from today, Big Fat Man will be coming down the chimney. So, man, it's right on top of us, and that means the year ending is right behind us as well. So, we appreciate everybody hanging out with us a little bit this Saturday.
Yes, sir.
This segment right here is brought to you by
KSRNAZ.com. Casual Sports Radio is your destination for the latest updates and in-depth coverage for all your Arizona sports teams, including all things Arizona Cardinals for the Bird Gang fan base. Visit KSRNAZ.com for feature articles, great podcasts, including the Easy Sports Talk Show, repurposing of that, and then also Believe in the Arizona Cardinals as well, and music programming like Microphone Masters and Disposable Arts and more. And I think we'd be remiss if we didn't say our deepest condolences to our man, Casual E. Earl Burnett. He had to lay his mother to rest. I believe he is doing that today.
Yeah.
So our thoughts and prayers are with you for sure.
Yes, sir. Yeah, really thinking about him at this time. So, I know he's not listening to the show, but like I said, he knows that we both been reached out to him and let him know how much we were thinking about him. So, like I said, thoughts and prayers to the Burnett family there. Wrap this first hour up, and we can spill it in the next if we have to. But let's give our, I guess our thoughts on this game. One thing, I'll ask you this. I asked Derek on the flip side, but how important is this game for the Cardinals?
It is highly important. I think if you look at it, say on a scale of 1 to 10, let's say for the Rams being maybe a 9, I would say for the Cardinals it's probably an 8. Not because they want to fall out of the playoff hunt, but because if you can, the margins are so thin when you think about it. So if you look at the playoff picture right now, the Cardinals 10-2, so the Rams are 8-4. They're first.
Packers right behind them at 9-3.
But think of it this way: so if the Cardinals lose and they're 10-3 and the Rams are 9-4, that's only one game.
One game, yeah.
Yeah, so that's why it's important to try to put to salt your division away. With a victory, they'll be guaranteed to be in the playoffs. But
in addition,
yes,
the first round bye only goes to one team this year. And the year I went to the Super Bowl, do you know how valuable that was to not have to play that first week?
Yeah.
And still get paid, by the way. So. But not play that week, sit home while Packers and 49ers had to battle it out, and then 2 other teams we got to watch. Then they got to fly across the country to play us. And you only have 2 games to get to the Super Bowl instead of that 3-game gauntlet if you're a wild card team, which will be the case for 6 other teams other than the first round bye team. And we don't own that tiebreaker against Green Bay.
Yep.
They have already come in here beating us. We end up with an identical record to them. They get it. We have to play in the first weekend. So that's how important that is. And one of the things I don't know if I said this to you or to Derek when I was doing this podcast, but one of the things I like the most about this game this week, it's a standalone, bro. Everybody, you can watch all the football you want on Sunday, on the morning, get some afternoon in. You got your night game. On Monday night, all eyes will be on the Arizona Cardinals.
All eyes on me.
And it's an opportunity as well to, there's a lot of people out there that still, it's the Cardinals. And that is unfair, but I went through that as well.
About that. Yes.
I went through that as well when I was with we were right here, bro. Yeah. That was a double alley. It was like, like the Harlem Goldchild. Yeah. When I was in Atlanta with the Falcons,
yes.
At one point we were like 10-2 on the season, and people were like, "Well, who the heck they beat? They beat the Giants, they beat the Jets, they beat blah blah." Run down the list. We had a late season matchup after getting smashed in week 3 by the 49ers. They had Jerry Rice, Steve Young, Garrison Hurst, young Terrell Owens. My brother was on that team, so they were all gassed up. They were supposed to come to our place and basically put us back in our place. Right. Game over. I said we were 10-2. Put our foot down their throat, and we beat them. And that was the first mention of, well, maybe them dudes are for real. Maybe Atlanta is for real. That Dirty Bird thing started, and all some people started looking at the dance, and it wasn't just some kooky thing. All of a sudden, it was, damn, maybe they flying high out there. And we propelled ourselves. We had to face San Francisco again in the playoffs to beat them, to go to Minnesota, to go to the Super Bowl. But those are those steps you have to take. And this game for the Cardinals is a huge step. I talk about establishing your dominance. Right. I'll say this: establishing your presence.
There we go.
Establishing your presence.
Better. I like that.
That means we're done knocking on the door. We are here.
Yeah.
So, okay, 2 minutes ago, who's winning this game and why?
Cardinals, because I think that there'll be more Cardinal fans in the building than the Rams fans, because the Rams don't have that type of fan base like some of these other teams that they've played. Even heck, they had a lot of fans for the freaking Carolina Panthers.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be a close one. I think it'll be. I say a touchdown. I think I said on believing the Arizona Cardinals. I said it'd be a touchdown.
Okay.
I think you think it might be closer to that.
Well, it's funny when I did Derek's podcast. I actually gave him the same identical. I actually went first, and I was like, I got this game 30-27 Cardinals. He started giggling. He was like, I got the same score, just flip flop. So I got the Cardinals because you got to remember, Rams. They do have a lot of talent over there on both sides of the ball. Mm-hmm. I just don't think they're gelling right now. They're not playing as fluid. And we just got our starting quarterback back, which I'm glad we got him back last week, get him implemented a little bit. And I think we go and we handle our business. I think this is a game where we can actually go in.
So you got this. So the line is 2.5 Cardinals. So you saying?
So you gonna bet online? I know what you're thinking.
I keep asking you about it. So what do you really think? You think it might be 4? Or you think it is going to be 3?
I've been wrong so much about everything else, so who knows? I might be wrong about this one too. I got Cardinals 30-27. Okay, so we'll see how this one all plays out. But 1 hour down, we got a lot of stuff to talk about still. We got some basketball. We'll talk about them Suns quickly. They've had like a little light schedule, which is good. But appreciate you hanging out. Easy and J, Easy Sports Talk Show, KDUS 1060 AM, KSLX HD Channel 200.7. Be back after these messages, folks.
Okay.
Happy holidays.
Yeah, man.
Clear. You're live.
And welcome back to hour 2 of the Easy Sports Talk Show. Certain music just makes you happy, don't it? This is like, I remember when I was a little boy, man, you know, Pops and some of my uncles, and they used to have the 8 tracks and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
This is like that old groove in music right here, you know? And I said, this is when people used to know how to sing. It wasn't all about getting in the studio and mixing it up and all that kind of stuff. So
I guess I should tell you I was in the studio last week, man.
No, you can sing though. You can rap. I mean, you got you got game. Man, you need to play your song again. The one from the Negro Hawk Museum. I love that song, man. We don't get that enough. Yeah, there you go. All right, this second hour of the Easy Sports Talk Show is brought to you by
Colt Artisan Beverage Company, the official beverage company of the Easy Sports Talk Show. One of the first to launch nitrogen-infused coffee. They offer everything from specialty coffees to a botanical infusion line of caffeine and sugar-free brewed beverages. Call Colt Coffee, or should I say call Colt Artisan Beverage Company at 623-434-0939 or visit ilovecolt.com for more information. And true story, if you're watching us online and you see this container right here, every morning when I come into to the show, Ed always has his Colt coffee that he's brewed himself and that he has in the freezer, so to give that iced coffee feel to it. And right around now is when he brings it out, and so he starts sipping on it.
Who needs Starbucks, man? I got Colt Artisan Beverage Company in my back, So I want to talk a little Suns basketball. It was actually, they had a light week, man. They played those kind of not back-to-backs where they had the Warriors on a Tuesday, somebody in between, and then played the Warriors again. Devin Booker's been out since the second half of that first Warriors game, and they kind of caught a break because we had a real light schedule for the last few days. On Monday of this week, they got back on the court. They played the Spurs, beat them.
A little closer than it should have been.
A little bit.
They had a good margin on the good lead on the Spurs, and the Spurs ended up kind of coming back, and they had to kind of pull that out at the end there.
And then they had a few days off, and they got back on the court last night and beat the Suns or the Celtics here at home, 111-90. And I thought this was important. There was actually a JaVale McGee sighting in this game.
He's been good. He's a decent player, and he's been good for the Suns. But I didn't watch it. I was this is holiday party season, and so I was at a holiday party, so I missed. But he hit a 3-point shot.
He took one? Really?
Took and made. Wow. He balled out. He was the leading scorer last night, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 21 and 15. And the reason I bring that up because Booker is obviously out with the hamstring. We'll update you on that. But DeAndre Ayton was out as well. Do you know whether that was a rest day or is he dealing with something nagging as well?
That I am not sure of, but hopefully it won't be anything too pressing that will keep him out, though. But yeah, the Booker thing, I think they're going to take a wait.
What's impressive is just as the Cardinals did with DeAndre and Murray sitting out, they 3 games, your backup quarterback, the Hopkins out, and we go get 2 of those 3 games, which are so valuable. And right now, with Booker down, we don't know how long he's going to be down. I'll give you an update on what Monty Williams said, but he is they actually have won a couple games, still sitting at 21-4, and now tied with the Warriors for first place in the West. And that is unbelievable when you think about how they started season 1-3, they were 18 in a row. Booker gets hurt in what we thought was one of the most crucial games, and then just kind of continue to just move on and handle their business. And these are how these magical seasons start. You look back, get to March, and you look back at some of these runs that they've had, and you're still sitting up there at first in the West or second, whatever it is. It is, like I said, this is how these magical seasons occur, and I'm actually really surprised that they've rebounded the way they have after losing in the finals last year.
Or is it just a continuation of what what they're doing now what did you say last segment? Not that establish your dominance, establish your presence.
Yeah.
So they are saying that last season wasn't a fluke. We are here. We are present to be counted for, and no matter who's in there, at least right now, there comes to be a law of diminishing returns there at some point, depending on how many people you lose. But at least right now, the people are being able to step up. I wouldn't expect to see a JaVale McGee 21-15 on a regular basis.
No.
Once in a blue moon.
It's good to see that when you need it.
Yeah, I'm sure they were probably hooping and hollering, because it seems like that team. And I'm going to ask you this. What I was going to say is it seems like this team really likes being around one another.
That's so important too.
But have you ever been on teams where you didn't like being around each other, but you still ended up performing at a high level?
I enjoyed. I'll tell you this much: there were dudes I couldn't stand on even winning teams I was on.
Okay.
When I was with the Falcons, there was one dude in particular. I'm not going to name him.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't, and he had a beef with my brother from college. This is how far it went back. And then when he found out about my background and who my brother was, even though we were on team, he was one of the, I guess, stars of our team on the defensive side. Man, I used to have to battle that dude during practice. Like, he would go out of his way sometimes during our drills to try to embarrass me when the defense is supposed to be going maybe 3/4 so we can just get the look. And when I'm on defense, when I'm giving the defensive look, I'm not out there trying to show you up. I'm running my routes and stuff like that. But as far as blocking, I'm going to give you a step, show you where I'm going. Yeah. And, I'm not going to let you just embarrass me, but I'm going to let you get to your spot. Man, he'd go out of his way to try to make me look silly on film sometimes.
Yeah.
We did not like each other from the base of the first day we met because he found out who my brother was. And for 2 years, we were teammates. Never could. If I went into a club and saw him, I would turn around and walk out.
Oh, that's something right there.
Oh yeah, and I'll give you an even better story during the break. I got a good one for you, bro. You better remind me about that one.
Real quick before we get back to the Suns, I went to that watering hole we went to.
Oh,
I went just the other day and they asked, "Hey, when are you gonna bring your ass over?" Dang, man.
We're gonna have to go. We'll stop by. Real quick update on Booker, and then I'm gonna have you play the golf clap for me. Real quick, because I do have a special announcement to make. Okay, Aaron, but Monty Williams on Booker. He said he's progressing day by day, but hasn't done anything on the floor, not even shooting. So that means that hamstring is a little more tender than we think. Because if you're not even out there shooting, that means they want you doing absolutely nothing. He said he's still in that healing mode right now. We'll see how he feels going forward, but it's day-to-day healing process. So I'm assuming.
Man, because again, I'm thinking of. I remember my hand. I mean,
bro.
I was on the super low end of it, but I get up and it would hurt me, and it would take a little bit before it would warm up, and then it would only be partially warm. But if he's not even shooting.
Yeah, not even shooting. Yeah. So Aaron, play a little golf clap for me because I have a special announcement I have to make right now. Okay, I wanted to acknowledge this feat that happened as early as last night. The Lakers improved to 14-13 with their first victory over the OKC Thunder. They beat them 116-9. Thank you so much for that, Aaron. They beat them 116-95 after the OKC Thunder basically put their foot on them twice this year, so they finally get some get back.
And they were shorthanded too because it's amazing to hear, but Anthony Davis didn't play last night. So I'm not that typically doesn't happen except for all the time. But
So congratulations on that to the Lakers. I mean 14-13, they sitting right where they want to be. 8 games out of first place, but well, if the playoffs started right now.
Oh my goodness! But speaking of, did you see the news that came out yesterday about what Steve Kerr is probably going to be named?
Named the
coach
of Team USA.
Team USA, and on his staff is going to be Monty Williams.
Yeah.
Monty Williams, I'm telling you, man, that Monty Williams is the guy. Because I try to, you been in those locker rooms and clubhouses, so you can kind of see through the BS of coaches and such. But Monty Williams is the type of guy that I think especially with what he's been through, if things are falling down around him, he will still have that hey, we're gonna get through this slow, steady, and stay the course. That is the kind of coach that you want, somebody that doesn't get too high, somebody that doesn't get too low, somebody that can be emotional in the sense of how he felt that emotion at the end of the finals when they came up short and went to the locker room to give congratulations and all that. And people I saw and heard people use that as a weakness. They can go to HE double hockey stick. That man is somebody who I would love to be a leader, to be a manager, a coach on my team.
I played under a whole assortment of types of coaches. I've had some great. I've had some that were the worst. And Monty is one of those dudes. I guarantee you that every dude on that team would run through a brick wall for him. And whatever he asks of you, you respect him that much. Yeah. Even if you don't understand what he's asking of you, you'll go do it because you know he's trying to lead you in the right direction. And like you say, he's a leader of men. Yeah. And as far as this team, and it couldn't have been a more perfect fit for the talent that he has here. He's got a nice little mix, but I just think he's the right man for the right spot. And I think with Kerr taking that position, bringing Monty along, you can't go wrong that way.
Yeah.
So
the Suns are and your boy, real quick, I saw your boy with Cam. He put it on the floor a little bit, put it on a little pump fake.
That's how we do it, bro. You just act surprised. We're not from Dookie. I mean, it's North Carolina you're talking about. We are, that's like the filet mignon of candidates for the NBA. You look around Zion Williams and some of these other busters that they put in there, I said it, yeah.
I saw that picture of Zion. I said, is that Ed or is that Zion?
I know what picture you're talking about, too. Okay. Hey, we're going to take this break. Got a little hockey news to talk about next, and then some other things to go as well. But appreciate you hanging out. Easy and Jay on the Easy Sports Talk Show. KDUS 1060. I should have said we got some paying bills news. And we're going to be back after these messages, folks.
You can.
Clear.
Thanks, man.
Monday nights from 7 to 8 p.m. It's James Out West featuring Richter Aleworks.
Yeah, your boy looks swole.
Woo! Could have been the angles. I don't
Easy
know.
Sports Talk. Congratulations, Milano Music, as they celebrate 7
Good one right there, bro. Yeah. Welcome back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. You know what's funny? I'm actually turning into one of them old dudes. Like, I'm like, I'm in my early 50s now, you know, and I'm one of them old dudes. Probably people like, look at the old dude getting it in, you know. Look at him jamming and jamming.
Yeah, I think so. I think my son's friends look at me like that. Your dad's kind of cool for a old guy.
This segment right here is brought to you by
True Narrative Media. True Narrative Media understands in today's world, the visual aspect of media is extremely effective in growing your business and expanding your brand awareness. True Narrative Media specializes in telling your unique story, providing a wide range of video services for companies and businesses of all sizes. For more information, call 623-335-0735. Again, that's 623-335-0735, or visit TrueNarrativeMedia.com.
Yes, sir. So, you know, this is the Easy Sports Talk Show. We cover all things Arizona as far as our sports teams. We don't necessarily cover a lot of hockey on our show. You know, I miss Dave and Greg following us for, you know, they were behind us for a long time. I have to reach out to Dave to see if he's ever coming back. But the Phoenix Coyotes were in the news this past week, and not for a good reason. Season is currently going on, but they were actually in danger of getting locked out from their own arena because of some unpaid tax liens to the county and city of Glendale.
Right.
And Glendale basically sent them notice. And, you know, we all have homes, and, you know, early in our days, you maybe forgot to pay something, or maybe didn't have the funds to pay it, you know, and you get that notice in the mail. You see, like, what's that? Why you open it up? It's like, you have 5 days, you know. So basically, the city of Glendale sends the Coyotes a note like, if this isn't paid by tomorrow morning, you're not getting in the stadium or the arena.
Yeah.
And so, oh wait, what? We owe you what? Oh, we're definitely gonna take. So what the Coyotes did, they end up paying that debt by the end of the next day. But like I said, they were being threatened to be locked out.
Yeah. And I think within a week or two of there, it was going to be sometime in early January, sometime very soon. But
no, I thought it was
no, it wasn't the next day.
Oh,
it was they gave them a few days to be able to, a couple of weeks to be able to get that reconciled. But the thing is, think about this though. It's that you're cool with somebody until you're not cool, right?
Oh yeah.
So it's the, hey man, you know, I just want to let you know about XYZ, and then all of a sudden they want to blast out what the issue is, as opposed to keeping it, just whispering it to you, but they speaking in loud voices as opposed to hushed tones, and that's just a relationship that has been fractured for a long time.
Oh yeah.
Various ownership groups as well.
Well, I'll throw a little communication out here, and then I got a question for you to follow up. But basically, the Coyotes made a statement. They've already launched an investigation. This is before they paid the bill. Launched an investigation to determine how this could have happened, and initiated indications that it will appear to be a result of unfortunate human error. So basically, somebody forgot. I hope that person still has their job, because that's putting somebody. You know, you're gonna put us on blast like that.
Yeah, that's a big mistake.
That's a big mistake. And then just to go back a little bit, you talk about how things have been bad. In August, the city of Glendale basically let the Coyotes know that after this 2021-22 season, they're not renewing their lease at Gila River Arena. So basically, they're saying that's it. And then the Coyotes are like, well, we're going to find a new home here. And I think they're in talks with Tempe and different places. My first question for me is like, you guys need to get on that. It's not like this isn't a high school team where you can go play in somebody else's high school gym until, you know, your arena is built. These arenas take years to build. Yeah. So Glendale's already told you, we done. Yeah. Hey, clap the hands, you know, we wipe them clean, we're done.
Let me see if I can if I've learned a little bit from you. I'm still learning from the master here.
All right, go ahead.
But wouldn't this be like a guy dating a woman and he keeps saying, you know, I'm gonna leave you. You don't never do nothing. You ain't good. You got this job, but you think you're better than me, and I'm gonna leave you. And he keeps saying. So then there's one ownership with all these different ownership groups that have come in. They've always said that we don't plan on being in Glendale. Glendale is not the place for us. I came across it was on KTAR just the morning that they paid, the afternoon that they paid their debt. They had somebody from the city of Glendale on, and so keep telling you you ain't for me, you ain't no good, keep putting it down until one day that lady says,
Okay.
You can be out by the end of the week. What you mean to be out by the end of the week? What are you talking about? I thought I love you, girl. We can work this out. Now you keep telling me you gonna leave me, and I'm not working. As a matter of fact, I just got my MBA, and plus I just got a promotion at work.
There you go.
I'm good because according to that gentleman, the name escapes me, but they had done some research. They had some market research done by a firm that said that based upon the cost that they have going in every year, just based upon the ice, the rent that they were charging to the Coyotes was less than what the cost to upkeep of the ice to be able to have the facility in that way. So if they can get 12 to 15 events a year, then they will end up being at least break even. So it's like saying I can do bad by myself.
Yeah.
I don't need you. I can do bad by myself.
That was a good one. Now, my question to you is, with all this going on, can we finally, I mean, let's be real, man. Is Arizona the place for hockey? I mean, there's certain, you go to certain places. I understand it's been here for a while.
Hockey in Tampa Bay, man.
I don't know, but I'm just saying, man, we're out here in the desert. And here's the other thing. In certain cities, even though they're maybe a little warmer, they have a following. The Coyotes have never grasped or got a stranglehold on this community. And I think part of it was you threw them way out here in Glendale. They're not really attached to the city. They've had so many issues like ownership, this, that, and the other thing. It just doesn't feel like this is a hockey town.
Now, I think it could be. But here's the thing that gets what happens with that. It's consistency. It's consistently winning. It's having a culture and players that people can latch on to. And when I say players that people can latch on to, it's a matter of a lot of the players are foreign born or so they're expats or whatever the correct term is. But teams that are full of energy or that they're grit or whatever that identity of that team is and marketed in such a way that people will come. But yeah, there's definitely that. It's one thing for people to complain about coming to State Farm Stadium once a week for a football game. Yeah, I mean you grin and bear it and you do it. But being able to, I can understand 2 or 3 times a week making that trek from. Because you know where we were last Saturday.
From Mesa.
From Mesa all the way over to Glendale. But if there was more of a centralized location, so we're all coming to we're all kind of almost equidistant from where.
I'll throw this out at you though. You've been in a relationship and you talk about, you've been talking smack about her all that time, right? Eventually it gets to a point of no return too, right? All of a sudden now you're like, hey girl, look, whoa, and she's already like, look, I've already made up my mind. With some fans out here, they might be like, I don't care about the Cardinals. I never will. Yeah. It's, and you treat like now, hey, we're going to build a new stadium in Tempe and we're going to try to, and people are like, yeah,
Girl, I went out. I got a suit.
Yeah.
I got a suit. What is it?
You're looking good right now. Let me take you out to Tempe.
I'm going to miss
I just think a lot of people, the love is gone, bro. After the love is gone. So like I said, I don't know how they can pull people back in. And it's almost like a situation I'm thinking to myself, sometimes you just got to let her go. I mean, meaning like the city or like Arizona itself. Sometimes like, look, as much as I love you, I know you can do better somewhere else.
It's not you, it's me.
It's not you, it's me. And hey, girl, I want you to be happy.
I just want the best for you.
I want the best for you. And I'm not it right now.
And that's my phone real quick. But I'm just saying, I want the best for you. I got to take this though. But
there's somebody out there for you. Some Midwest city or somewhere, that just, I know you can do better. And,
it's a Midwest city that's out there for you.
Midwest city, so cold. They got snow. People love hockey.
Oh, my God. I hate you.
So we'll see what happens. But, man, I'm just, like I said, I feel, if you are a hockey fan and you happen to be listening to us right now, I feel your pain. I really do. I'm
gonna say this though. The reason I think that there's still room for the hockey team because I felt the same. I I'm that fringe guy, right? But I've been to a couple of hockey games, and when you're there in person, that is what I would always hear that you got to see it in person. Okay, let me see it in person. Oh.
See, but you're just dating hockey. You don't want to marry hockey. So I mean, there's a whole bunch of people that might want to go every now and then.
I'll call you at 2 a.m. What's up, hockey? What you up to? What you doing?
I'll sleep. You know what song we talking about too? 2 a.m. Ice Cube. Hey, we're gonna take this break. Be back after these messages. Appreciate you hanging out with Easy and Jay, as silly as we are. Easy Sports Talk, KDUS 1060 AM, KSLX, HD Channel 2, 100.7. Be back after this.
Can you come through?
Clear.
Thanks, Aaron.
I'll turn those pictures into gold. Wall to wall. The biggest stories coming to you from 3 to 5 p.m.
And welcome back to the Easy Sports Talk Show. And we really do appreciate you hanging out with us wherever you might be, driving around, sitting listening on the computer, watching us on Facebook or Restream. Once again, I want to remind everybody, 3rd year anniversary.
Yeah,
my boy's sitting next to me in this chair. So we've been getting it in. We don't take it lightly that, like I said, it's a lot of fun, but we appreciate, we try to do the best we can each week. And So appreciate you hanging out with us. So this segment right here is brought to you by
E3 Cryo. I know you went and got your cryo.
Yes, I did.
E3 Cryo and Wellness Center is a health optimization clinic specializing in cutting-edge therapies for pain and inflammation, performance and recovery, as well as anti-aging and aesthetics. Services include cryotherapy, weight loss, bioidentical hormones, and peptide therapy. For more information, visit e3cryo.com. That's E3cryo.com. Call them at 602-899-CRYO or 602-899-2796, or stop by the Phoenix location at 13615 North 35th Avenue, Suite number 2 in Phoenix.
And I had to go get mine in this week and just try to get this body right, man. And we were actually going to have another event maybe in January or the first part of February. Get some of my NFL brothers.
I got to get in there before it is.
Yeah, no, we're gonna
maybe do it again when we get there because I told you I was stupid and signed up for that 50-mile.
Yeah.
So
whole bunch of people listening to us and watching us right now. I got a special shout out from my brother Michael Peoria. I've known Mike since I was 5 years old. Man.
Okay.
Yeah, that bruh. Hope you're having a great holiday season too. One of the best dudes I know, man. So we've been since we were just fresh out of diapers. I've known that dude. Mike, great to see you, hear from you. So this segment, I want to talk a little bit about, and the bowl season is here upon us with college football. And we got the Army-Navy game today, and then they'll start into the bowl season. Yeah. And, bruh, they've got 42 bowl games. Last year, a lot of them were canceled, different things because of COVID. And
we are back. And
we are.
Get these bowl games in.
We're going to get them in, bro.
5% capacity.
42 bowl games. I mean, I don't know there were that many days in the bowl season, let alone we went. Here's the thing. 42 games means 84 teams qualify for a bowl. Bruh, there's nothing elite about that these days. I remember back in my day, when I was playing high school football, and was really into trying to figure out what college I was going to go to, and you're watching these teams, and they always try to impress you by we made it to a bowl game. We're actually going to the Gator Bowl. We're going to the the Outback Bowl. Now they got bowls like the Toilet Bowl, the Independence Day Bowl. I mean, it's like. So 42 bowl games, and where our ASU Sun Devils landed with an 8-4 record, they're actually going to face Wisconsin at 8-4 at the SRS Distribution. Got to throw those sponsors in there first. The SRS Distribution Las Vegas Bowl. So they're not going far from home. They'll be playing Wisconsin, which I think is going to be a pretty good game. I do like Wisconsin, like football. I'm not saying I like them in this game to win, but I'm saying I like.
You said that I was perking up. You like them -7?
But no, well they're at minus.
Tell me more. Tell me more.
For anybody who doesn't get the inside part of that, we not only are a lot of our shows on KDUS, we are believing pocket. We're all being sponsored now by some of these bet onlines and different betting sites and stuff like that. Hey, Aaron J keeps trying to corrupt me and get me involved in that nastiness. He's trying to keep bringing me in there. But so every time I give him a little advice, or he thinks I'm giving a little advice, he's like, "What'd you say?" What? So here's the topic I want to talk about. We got other things, but let's talk specifically with Arizona State. You and I were at a holiday party last week. We went down to the Above Par Networking Group's holiday party.
Yes, sir.
By the way, great to see a bunch of those people. I haven't seen them in a while. We struck up a conversation with a gentleman there, a diehard ASU guy. His dad went there. He went there. And we started talking about first Herm as the head coach, and then the program overall. And he brought up a really interesting point. Like right now, Arizona State finished 8-4. Not ranked, but at one point they were up as high as like somewhere in the mid-teens, right? Mm-hmm. Fell out. An 8-4 season for a lot of teams, a lot of universities. I mean, they're standing and clapping, but out here in Arizona, it's almost like you can feel
10-year extensions off of that.
Yeah, you can feel like the disappointment of like the Arizona State fans. And this gentleman, I can't remember his name, but he was literally talking about people should really kind of be standing up and clapping for Herm and what he's doing here, but the expectations are so high. And I'm trying to figure, where is the long tenured success of ASU? I mean, maybe I should go way back, but they had a few spot years, whatever, like nationally ranked. Well, I'll ask you. I mean, you went to San Jose Community College, so I mean,
the San Jose State University. It's
Division III, right?
It's understanding who you are, right?
That's what I'm thinking.
It's understanding because in theory, right? If I could be as an alumni of, let's say, San Jose State, I could go in there and say, well, where we are, there are a lot of great high school players in the state of California, so therefore we should be. Let's just upgrade our facilities, and therefore we should expect 8 or 9 wins a season, or to win our division. And I think you have to understand kind of that the playing field has been leveled in such a way because of, and I'm sure you've heard this argument, and I think that there's a lot of truth in this, is that because that everybody's on television now as opposed to a few teams, whereas Nebraska used to be the powerhouse back in the day, or some of these other schools where Notre Dame had such a competitive advantage because they had their own network of sorts with NBC, et cetera. So I'm sure a lot of you folks have heard that argument. But yes, you could say that Arizona State should have a built-in advantage because have you been to the campus? I have been to. You can go to a lot of campuses with beautiful people on them, right? So you can go to a lot of campuses where the weather is decent during the summer. I mean, during the winter time. So you can't just rely upon that. And so as such, you have to adjust that expectation and say, maybe the goal is every 4 years. I think the gentleman even mentioned that maybe it's every 4 years that you expect to compete for the NFC, for the Pac-12 South, to be able to try to go to a Rose game, and Rose Bowl game. And this is one of those years where they probably should have competed in that way because things seem to have aligned up. But it doesn't mean that you just continue to throw people out, unless with some of the allegations that have been levied against Herm and the staff in ASU football are accurate and they get punished in such a way. But you have to align your expectations in a proper way.
I'll throw this other factor out there.
I'm not going to fit the medium. I can go maybe down to a large, but a medium is probably too. Seriously, you can go down. That's not realistic. But I can go from this double XL to try to go down to a large. That could be more realistic. Set the standards.
I'll throw this factor out here too. Every school, or at least most schools, the ones that have certain expectations, they have an identity as well. The first thing you think about when you think of ASU is not their basketball team. It's not even their football team. It's their baseball program that's had the most success long-term out of all. They were, a national powerhouse for years, still flirt with it every now and then. They get to the College World Series from time to time. They're still doing that type of thing. When was the last time Arizona State, either basketball or football, was in either the national championship? God forbid, our basketball today, ASU basketball team the last 2 years had to play a playing game just to get into the tournament. Right. That's how far we've sunk there. Right. So I would be more apt to listen to the baseball program, which we're going to get in touch with Max Rosser too, because before you know it's going to be January leading into February, and baseball is going to be back for us, right?
Right.
So I would be more inclined to listen to somebody from the ASU program tell me how they're really disappointed that ASU baseball hasn't gone out and brought us the national team. I know. I don't care. Money coming in, so they're worried about those donors, man. They're worried about those donors. So even this, for example, Aaron. I know this is your kind of soon-to-be alma mater that we're talking about here. So when you're looking at it, do you think that when it comes to football, and even as we're talking about here, but maybe even with basketball, that the expectations are a little bit unrealistic, or do you think that they are right to expect to want to dominate the Pac-12?
Yeah, I think with anything, you would expect that there should be at least some success that follows, especially with the amount of money that comes into these kind of programs, especially with sports. I think it's also important to be realistic in some situations and realize that, other teams have gotten better in other baseball. If we're going to talk about ASU baseball, that, they were a powerhouse a while ago. And, a lot of teams have gotten better since then, and their programs have gotten better, and a lot of more money has been put in. So I think it's important to expect greatness, but at the same time, be realistic.
Yeah. If you aim for 12, let's say if every team's goal is to maybe go undefeated. I'm sure San Jose State's goal is to go undefeated, and they snicker, but they probably put that on the board. I know I would, but somebody 8 wins for Ohio State is a kick in the mouth, but 8 wins for ASU, 3 years. 3, and then maybe that 4th year you go for 10 or 11. That's the rhythm.
There was a line in my second all-time favorite movie, The Matrix, when the Oracle told Neo, like she told him something in Latin or whatever it was. She said, translated that is, know thyself. You have to know yourself. Mm-hmm. And I don't think these fans out here sometimes realize maybe one day we can get to that national platform, but it hasn't been what it's, for so many years. So
real quick, I know we gotta get. What was that line in Friday where Smokey's mom gave him some money? Go and give me some more. That's not enough. Make it enough. That's what the donors are trying to say.
Hey, we're gonna come back and wrap things up. Appreciate you hanging out with us, folks. Be back after this.
Are you kidding? Where?
Thanks, Aaron.
What is this? It's not enough. Make it enough.
Make it enough. No.
You need more than just answers. You need understanding. At Banner Health, we see you for who you are, the people you love.
I think it was like a setting or something that
We offer video visits, a 24/7 nursing outline, and more. Not just because they're convenient, but because we believe the best kind of care is that kind that opens up your world. Banner Health. Less worry, more care.
Hey Phoenix, I'm Bassett here. I'm bringing the best sports talk weekend to you, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KBUS AM 1060.
You're live.
And welcome back. Final segment of the Easy Sports Talk Show. And we appreciate you hanging out with us on this beautiful Saturday. Forgot to mention, high of 63 today, low of 41.
It's a high of 63?
63, something like that, yeah. Low of 41, yeah. So, yeah, but definitely in our sweet spot as far as the weather. I want to give our shout-outs to all the people that help us make this do what it do here at the Easy Sports Talk Show. First off, Brother Hans Schatz and Colt Artisan Beverage Company, the official beverage company of the Easy Sports Talk. Looking forward to doing some great things with Hans and Colt Artisan Beverage Company, springboarding into 2022. I want to thank Mr. Mike Milano and the Milano Family Music, in Mesa. Going to try to get down and do a live remote there soon. Coach D'Alicio with the Varsity Sports Show always does a great time leading into our show. Great show, and I want to actually, hopefully, we'll see Coach. I'm going to find out if he's going to be in the studio next week because we're going to go down.
Type of remote.
Yeah, we're going to go do it. We're going in studio. Yeah. We haven't been in studio in a couple of years.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's been a long time, man. Maybe about a year or something. Maybe at the end of last year we went in.
I think you
before
walked
COVID.
in there more recently than I have. But
No.
I haven't.
I'm saying to do a show though.
Yeah,
It's been Yeah. I want to thank Brother Mark Beaver, Mark Twain Beaver, True Narrative Media, Brother Frank Sturpey with Imagine Schools of Arizona, Ms. Tina Smith, the owner of E3 Cryo and Wellness Center, and then want to give a special shout out to Casual E, Brother Earl Burnett, and Sean as well, and Felix for the Casual Sports Network, but especially for Brother Earl, dealing with the loss of his mother a little bit back here, and they're laying her to rest today over in California. So our thoughts and prayers go out to you, Brother Earl, and to your family. And then shout out to Aaron. Great to have you back, man. Always on point. Appreciate everything you do for us. And looking forward to seeing you next week, man. We'll be down at the studio and bring some coffee for you. And then some,
I love the fact that Aaron doesn't, because nobody really likes to agree with you. So there was times when you tried to set up stuff for Aaron. So Aaron, you think that 1 + 1 is 3, right? Because I believe 1 + 1 is 3, and he says, no, it's 2. Yeah, boy, that's what's up. That's Aaron.
So we lost a few people this week, but two in particular wanted to just kind of note. Bob Dole, Republican senator, I think, for many, many, many years, died at 98. Actually ran for president at one point. War veteran. And here's, you don't have to agree with politics, but some people, regardless of what side they're on, he spent his life trying to make this country better in the Senate, doing different things. And, 98 is a good, long life.
Yeah.
We all have to go at some point. Thoughts and prayers to his family. On the other side, we lost way opposite. Demaryius Thomas, wide receiver for the Denver Broncos for several years. I think he finished his career with the Jets, and it was one other spot in between.
Super Bowl
winner, teammate of Peyton Manning just as recent as a couple of 3 years ago. At 33 years old, we lost Demaryius Thomas. It appears to be like a seizure, something he's been dealing with over the last year, but he just officially retired early this summer. Right. So you would think still in relatively good health, but he's been having some seizures. Mm-hmm. So they responded to him being unconscious at his house on Thursday evening and not able to revive him. So we lost him at 33. And I bring this, especially want to talk about this because as men, Jay, we don't always take the best care of ourselves because we think we're indestructible. And, you and I are both at an age. I'm a few years older than you. I'm still a little prettier than you, but
you beat me too.
I know where you're going. But, we get to a certain point in our lives and every day is not guaranteed. And when you lose somebody like a Demaryius Thomas at 33, who I'm assuming was still in the peak of his athletic, form and good health, which you would imagine, when you lose somebody like him, it makes you start thinking about things. Just coincidentally, I had a doctor's appointment scheduled yesterday with Dr. Arvin Mahadevan, Trident Health, and it was just because of one of the things. I had my surgery early in the year. I haven't seen the doctor for a while.
Yeah.
Wanted to go in and get kind of an update on where I'm at now. And I did something specifically because of what happened to Demaryius Thomas. And I had a lunch with a gentleman yesterday, Bob. He was telling me how he just had a bout with prostate cancer last year. It started getting me thinking. I was like, you know what? If I want to be around here a long time for my son, I better start taking better care. So I did one of those things that we don't always want to do. I talked to my doctor about prostate exam and a colonoscopy. Okay. And I actually have the paper where he gave me my referral. I'm going to go get my colonoscopy, man. Okay. I mean, these are things that are uncomfortable for us.
Right.
But I'm telling you, if we take care of ourselves now, hopefully we can get as many years out of as many years as God's going to allow us on this earth. Yeah. But it's something about trying to take care of it before something happens.
Yeah, if you think about it, let's say if just so bear with me just a second. Let's say if there's written in the book that you're supposed to live for, let's say 80 years, right? Mm-hmm. Let's say that's what you're supposed to, your optimal, and you pass away at 60, you go to heaven, and God says, well, you weren't supposed to be here until 80. If you had taken care of yourself, if you had made some better decisions, if you had foregone some things, and so it's those types of things that we want to try to our diet and trying to make sure that we get those checkups and that we're as honest as we can be with our healthcare providers, so that we can so we can make the necessary changes and pivots. And
sometimes it is about being a little uncomfortable. We don't want to do the things that make us uncomfortable. Right. Man, like I said, I'm gonna go get some of these things done at 52. And not wait till I'm 60 or find out something about it, taking care of it at 52 would not have been a problem. So my message to all of the men out there and the women, because women usually smart enough, they get a cold and they're like, let me go take something to stop it. We wait till we're on our deathbed and can't walk and can't breathe and or something's broken.
My wife is quick to throw some Tylenol or some
Robitussin.
Put that tussin on it.
Put the tussin on it.
With the boys at you, give them that tussin. Let that boy sneeze for a minute.
But like I said, if you are a man out there, go get things checked out. Yeah. Don't wait till it's too late. That old saying, you never promise tomorrow. You see somebody like Demaryius Thomas go, you realize life is very fleeting. So, and for the ladies out there, get on your man, make them go get checked out and do certain things. And, that way we can all be around here enjoying these holidays and everything. Yes, so before we get out of here, we got a couple minutes. I wanted to just, this is our show. And,
real quick, I want to say, because you got who you about to bring on. My son Kendrick came back home from college for
welcome home, Kendrick.
Last night. So the fam Voltron is right now, so it's good to have him home. So both boys home, and my wife is obviously ecstatic and over the moon.
Oh yeah, and I got my little dude Quentin standing here right next to me. I just want to let him know how proud I am of him. He's having a great year in school. Got walking around with a little boot on his foot because he broke his foot a few weeks ago. But next Friday we'll get that checked out. He doesn't have a boot on now like he should, but just want to let him know how proud I am of all the things he's doing. And then I want to get his thoughts real quick. You got about 30 seconds or so. I'm going to give him my headphones. I want you to tell everybody about what you think. And I raised my son to be independent. He's a Rams fan. I can't do it. He plays video games. He's a Rams fan. So Quentin, tell everybody what the Rams and Cardinals game is going to be like this week.
Okay. Thank you. I feel that we kind of need to stop the Cardinals. They have too many long possessions. Stop James Conner. One thing to do. Stop James Conner.
That's number one.
Go Rams.
What's the final score?
I was going to pick the Cardinals, but I am not a hometown person, so I'm picking the Rams to go 24-21.
All right. You heard it from Quinn right there.
24-21.
All right, dude. Love you, man.
Love you too.
So that wraps up our show. We got one more show next week. We're going to be in the studio with Aaron, just so everybody knows. We'll probably bring our stuff out so we can still do the Facebook and restream and all that.
Yeah, sure.
But we're going to wrap things up because we're going to be off on Christmas Day and on New Year's Day, just like Coach will. So just want to thank everybody again for listening to us, hanging out with us. We had our list. We thank Aaron. Bruh, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Man, I got 6 miles to do today.
You're going to stop over at the spot? Tell everybody I say hello.
I swear, Ed and my wife, they leave the best impressions ever. No, I'm just looking forward to enjoying the outdoors this weekend, and got another Christmas party to go to tomorrow. Oh, actually going to see Deion Cole tonight.
Okay.
Anybody going to see Deion Cole? If you see me, you can buy me a beer.
We're going to be baking cookies up in here. So, hey, thank you, everybody. We will see you next week. Hope you have a great finish to your weekend. And if you're getting that holiday shopping and stuff in, stay safe out there. Once again, Easy Sports Talk, KDUS 1060 AM. Easy and Jay, happy 3rd anniversary. We'll be back next week. Thanks, Aaron.
You get it.
All right, guys, you are clear. Good show. I'll see you next week.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
Thanks
See
to
ya.
Hans for making me look good on the radio.
Huh?
Thanks to Hans for making me look good on the radio with the Colt coffee shirt. How sweaty was it in there?
No, it wasn't at all. That's I don't even know where I got that hat from. Maybe your mother got it from me, or I can. Yeah, because I think I had one that was small or something like that. Yeah.
I just love this white ball. It's like,
Okay.
I'm smoking that. I'm gonna go put on my comfy clothes and get ready for bacon.
I'm gonna go pick the dog up real quick after I wrap this up.
We can leave that. I can wrap it up later.
That's no good. It doesn't take much. Just a couple minutes.
When you go to grab the dog, will you stop by the